Welcome to another episode of Two Ales and Hockey Tales with Wally. And today I am so excited to have on a 24-year-old from Kincardine, Ontario, Canada, a staple of the Kincardine Canucks, a legend and former captain of the Guelph Storm, where he was an OHL champion, a two-time OHL Humanitarian of the Year, and a one-time CHL Humanitarian of the Year. During that time, he made Team Ontario in under 17 and played two times for the OHL All-Stars in the Junior Super Series. And currently with the Acadia University Axemen, he has already been named to the All-Rookie team. He played for Team Canada in the Universiade and was a bronze medalist and was a second-team All-Star and has recently been named a Hockey Canada champion and is the founder, creator, whatever you want to call it, of McFadden's movement. Welcome to the podcast, Garrett McFadden.
Thanks for having me on.
Yeah, no problem. So you just had a cool down in a shower? You just played a hockey match?
Yeah, nice Wednesday game in Sizzler. We started a couple weeks late, so I don't know, they're trying to catch up before exam season starts, so they got us playing last 4 Wednesdays in a row. So it's a bit different. I don't know how they thought it might help us with all the schooling and stuff like that going on. I mean,
is school
it's not
busy?
all that bad, but for me, not really. Like, I finished my degree early last year, so I'm kind of in victory lap mode right now, more so here for the hockey part. But
I would think so.
I mean, if I was, in the same position I was last year when I was kind of my last year of my degree, that it's not the easiest thing to manage, but we're at a small school, and that always helps when you kind of get to know a lot of your classmates, and obviously the boys help each other out from time to time, and they treat us pretty good here at Acadia. So we do all right.
Where is Acadia?
Hard, but at the end of the day, it's in Wolfville, Nova Scotia. So we're about an hour west of Halifax. So just kind of like directly across the province. And
they have donaires
so
there?
They have donaires. It's your standard maritime small town, and it's, I don't know, I think the population's around 6,000 or 8,000, and then you just stick a university in there. So I don't know, I always think of it like, imagine Kincardine, and then you just put like 4,000 students that love to party and
that sounds
do all
right.
that stuff in the
How's
middle
your
of
hockey team?
It'd be mayhem. We're all right. We're off to kind of a bit of a slow start this year, but we're hosting nationals, so it's kind of we have a ticket to the big dance, so obviously we want to play our way there. But I don't know, we're young. There's a lot of changeover, so it's been kind of
a bit of a struggle
COVID,
on the
right? Get-go, but
you guys missed like a whole season, right?
Yeah, we missed a whole season. We actually got to play 2 exhibition games, whatever that was last year.
Yeah, and that's it.
Yeah, that was it. So
if you already have your degree, why are you still playing there? Why aren't you playing pro? Because you're good enough.
Yeah, I thought it kind of would be better just with the year off, just to go back to school, and we're hosting, and then I'm obviously the captain this year. So yeah, just kind of stir things up, and then hopefully at the end of the year have a chance to finish the year pro. So it was kind of a tough decision, but one that, I guess, I don't know, you kind of have to live with it and hope that it's the right one, right?
Yeah, well, yeah, man. It looks like you're doing well. You got over a point a game, and you're a D-man. So yeah, you're still doing your thing. I usually get into how we know each other. Okay, so we skated together. You probably, I don't know if you'd remember this or not. I was still playing pro at this time when I first moved to Kincardine in the summer. I think you were still playing for the Guelph Storm. We skated once in Kincardine. That's when I first saw you and Muirsy skate, and I was like, didn't know they had players like that around here. That's when I met you. Didn't really talk to you, I don't think.
No, that's all right. It was kind of, I remember those skates back in Kincardine. Yeah, Muirsy, good times.
Oh yeah, he's brutal at chirping people in the room, isn't he? He'd always try to chirp me with the wolves.
He's just the best guy.
I know.
Yeah, I see him around the golf course all the time in the summer, and just kind of give it to him. It's pretty funny. I just love making him smile. He just kind of laughs at you and just shakes it off.
Yeah.
Say anything to him, and he'll greet it with a smile. So
Oh, he's a great dude. So then I guess then I moved to Kincardine. Okay. So then I actually retire from hockey and I don't really know you at all. And I start with the company I'm with now, Superheat, and I'm in Burlington, Ontario, working as a field technician under Jeff Elkenbrack. And he says, do you want to come watch this kid from Kincardine play hockey tonight? Like I think he trained you at the time and
Yeah.
knew the family. So I tag along with him and I watched the game with your parents and Deano. So Deano, if you don't know, was the guy that in between hockey and my career now threw me a bone. And, I was his head painter, that summer and I worked some carpentry.
He's a legend. He always used to tell us back in the day that he invented the saucer pass. I mean, I could go on all day
I
about
thought he
Dean.
taught you the saucer pass. That's what he told me.
Well,
That's the only reason you
yeah,
know
he
it.
he he definitely did with that Lindstrom curve that he used to use.
Oh, he was still saucing it in old timers at like 60
Yeah,
something years old now.
yeah, oh yeah.
Still got it too.
He's a legend for sure. Yeah,
But
yeah. He
yeah,
had
that's when I met your parents. They're great folks. How are they doing?
yeah, they're really good. Yeah, my dad's obviously used to be an undertaker and
He was
sold the
then the head
business, and
painter
now
too
he's
for a little bit.
yeah, he was painting a bit for Deano and just
Every time you're in
trying to
transition, you go to Deano to be the head painter.
yeah, he definitely keeps you guys busy. I mean, my dad used to tell me about they'd take their lunch breaks and they'd go watch my game from the other night and break it all down, and then they'd be calling me on their lunch break. It's like I'd be in high school or whatever. I can't even remember how old I was at the time that was going on, but yeah, me and Dean think that you need to do more of this. It's like, oh yeah, you guys you guys aren't getting much painting done today, obviously, but yeah, it was yeah, parents are good. My dad's taking over the science store downtown. He's loving it and working away down there. And then yeah, my mom is just hanging in there. She works down at Lakeview Dental. So they're
Yeah,
quite the pair. I know they're missing the Storm games and being able to see me play when I'm out here, but they go down and watch Bryce play for the Bulldogs. So
well, I was just gonna
yes.
say that's the last time I saw your old man was he served me a beer at the Bulldogs game when I took my son's team to be the flag bearers there. Small world,
Yeah,
eh?
yeah, they keep busy. But yeah, it's nice that they're still getting down to the rink, and obviously with Bryce still playing. I mean, it's good for them to. I know my dad loves being at the rink. My mom too. They're both huge hockey people, so I'm sure they love their time and love. My dad can shoot it with anyone. So
Oh yeah, he's a
he
dandy.
I know he
Yeah.
loves to talk to anyone about hockey. So
But yeah, no, I watched that game, and that's like when I saw you play for the first time, and like you were playing it for the OHL All Stars against like Russia, so like you got to be a pretty big prospect playing in that game usually, right?
yeah, it was obviously I was pretty lucky to get selected and just kind of be on the radar for the World Junior team. Obviously, didn't work out that way, and but yeah, no, pretty cool experience. Got to play with some future NHLers, and obviously that I didn't fall under that category, not yet, but yeah, I got to play with some pretty unreal players, and obviously anytime you're playing the Russians, it's all hands on deck. So
Well, you fit right
yeah, I
in with
enjoyed it.
all
I got
those guys.
yeah. I mean, it felt good. I remember thinking back to. I mean, I played in it twice. The first time was in Owen Sound, so it's pretty cool to be close to home and playing in that. Obviously, I had a lot of family at the game, and then when we played in Hamilton, I'm assuming that's probably the one that you were at when we were in Hamilton.
Yeah.
Yeah, we played pretty good, and I remember having Giovanni Smith there as one of my teammates that was on the team too, and yeah, it was nice to get out there and test yourself against the best in the world. That's for sure.
Yeah, I never really got an opportunity to do that. That was pretty cool when I saw that. It was weird for me though, because I was, in the transition period, just starting out, and then I go to that game and like the scouts in the stands. When I looked around, I like knew a bunch of guys, and I was running into my buddies, and I was like, "Hey," and they're like, "What are you doing now?" And I'm like, "Yeah, just out of the game, yeah, you're scouting for them, cool."
Yeah, yeah. I'm just here with my
Uh,
buddy.
yeah, it was fun. It was an interesting time. But moving on. Um, the other way I know you then is your brother Bryce just joined my pickleball league this summer.
Oh yeah, yeah. I'm sure
Did you know that? He
he's
played a
quite the
couple
athlete.
times.
I knew there was rumors. I know Skinny was out there, Ethan Skinner, and he tried to get me to come out a couple times, but I was always working or out of town. But
Sure you were.
I'm sure
Once you try,
Bryce
you
can
can't
whack him
stop, buddy.
around at the best. Yeah, yeah, that's the rumors I've heard. So
Yeah, Bryce is very aggressive, really attacks the net with the long arms, and he's just like
yeah,
right outside the kitchen, just smashing balls. Yeah,
yeah, he's a lanky bugger. I wish I got some of that length, but hey, can't get
yeah.
it all, I
And
guess.
he also was my son's hockey instructor this summer in some hockey schools. So it's a
Yeah,
small world, you know.
yeah, I guess that Bryce would have a few tips for him. I don't know. I wouldn't really listen to much that he said, but
I watched him play, got a little grit in his game. I guess they were losing
yeah,
though,
he
and then he
does.
started throwing some
Yeah,
big
he's got
body
a bit of
checks when they were
sandpaper.
losing.
Yeah, he's got a short fuse, that's for sure. Used to be pretty easy to get him going when we were playing mini sticks or anything like that down in the basement. So
I'm looking forward to this weekend. I got the Kincardine Canucks heading to a hockey tournament, and Colby was picking out his mini stick already today.
yeah, yeah, we got kicked out of a few hotels back in my day. We used to go. I remember every year when we were going to Michigan to the International Silver Stick a couple of times, we got in a few feuds with some security guards, and I don't know.
That
There was
happens.
definitely some tears back then in novice, thinking back to the big scary security guard telling us not to play hockey in the hallways. But
Or thinking
one of those
you're getting
things.
your family kicked out of the hotel. I've been there.
Yeah,
Farm
yeah.
Girl
All of a
Blueberry
sudden,
Wheat Bayfield Brewing Company. And by the way, big news today. Bayfield Brewing Company, the gal that set all this up, Ash, her husband was buddies with Welsh, who was one of the episodes, and she set all this up. And well, she's no longer going to be working at the Bayfield Brewing Company. My contact with my sponsor. So we're in a transition period. Hopefully we can hang on to this because it's been a blast getting sponsored by you guys. Your beers are great, and love going over there to pick up free beers and have a nice meal. But this Ash girl, whatever she does, is she's going to do great at it. Because when I saw her run the restaurant, when we'd show up, she ran a tight ship, and yeah. Thank you for helping me get my thing started and sponsoring the podcast. So good luck, Ash, right?
doesn't sound you got much leverage there.
Well, they've given me quite a few beers over the year. But anyways, yeah, they lost a good person. She saw the vision I had in my shed here. Okay. Anyways, how else do we know each other? I don't think I got anything else yet. So I think we got to talk about how I reached out to you. I was packing for the dump, and I always was going to reach out to you. I just never knew when. But then I was packing for the dump last weekend, and the Kincardine newspaper was there. And on the front paper was you getting a jersey, and it says Hockey Canada Champion. So what exactly is a Hockey Canada Champion?
Well, they told me it's someone who's like making a difference in their community, and obviously, I don't know. I guess I tried to do that, from time to time. So I don't know. I'm sure they could have
From
found.
time to time. Well, can we talk about your the McFadden's movement? Because I have to
Sure.
talk about my exciting news now too. So let's talk about what you've started here.
Yeah, yeah. So I started in my fourth year in Guelph with the Storm. I started a non-for-profit that raises money for kind of like mental health and mental health awareness. So we donate most of our money. Usually it's a 50-50 split between West for Youth online out of Walkerton and then CMHA Waterloo Wellington. So I was connected with Wes Cameron. He's a family friend and a good friend of my older sister Madison, and he died by suicide back when I was in grade 9. It's kind of something I kept with me, and just was aware of what mental health was and kind of the seriousness around it from sort of a young age, and then had a platform to raise some money and awareness for something I cared about. And that's kind of where McFadden's movement came from. So started out with me just telling my story about my time in the OHL and how, it isn't all, rainbows and butterflies and, easy, and what the kids see on a Friday night at 7:30 at the Sleeman Center, it's a lot harder than that, and you kind of go through ups and downs and struggles and all that stuff, and just kind of tell the kids about struggling and how to deal with it and all that stuff. And then from there we've kind of just branched out and done some fundraising and put on some events. We did 3 ball hockey tournaments, and then since COVID happened, we haven't been able to do one since then. We're hoping for next summer, and then we've done a few other tidbit events, I guess, kind of 50-50s, and put on a concert and stuff like that. And then last summer we did a big golf tournament, raised like just over 18,000 at Cutting Fields in Guelph. So had a bunch of my old teams and some current NHLers and stuff like that out, and sort of did it celebrity style, and it's a pretty awesome day. And I don't know if you've ever been to Cutting, but it's pretty elite course.
Yeah. I've never been there, just heard of it.
Yeah, so private course, right on the U of G campus. So I know the boys are happy to a nice little track like that, and obviously to raise some money and stuff like that. It was also nice. So yeah, it's kind of, I don't know, that's what we've been up to. So
yeah. Well, that's really cool. Yeah, the mental health thing, it's weird. I mean, there's that time, right, when you're a hockey player and like every day's not great. And it's not like, there's lots of times, but then there's when you get out of the game, hard time too, man. The longer you go, it kind of is, the harder it probably is for people to get out. And I know there's a lot of guys that struggle, especially when you start talking to them in your shed. And yeah, so I was one of those guys too that struggled after, right? So yeah, the mental health thing is it's tough. So anyways, I got like a platform now, right? So I got my shed here in Kincardine. So my plan here is, I guess it was like the last jersey I wore in pro Cardiff Devils 2015-16 when I hurt my knee. They gave me an extra jersey when they sent me over for Wally night. So I got one to spare. So I'm going to donate this jersey, raffle it off on my website. And then I've been trying to figure out, how I can make a few bucks to get this podcast bigger and buy shirts and hats and stuff, but also help the hockey community. I don't want to go get big sponsors that tell me what to say and what to do and what I can't do. I want to keep this real. I want to say what I want. So I kind of want to make a little bit of money for all the time, because I've probably put in about a few thousand hours this year. But I also want to help the hockey community. So what I'm going to do is raffle that jersey off on my website, aleshockeytales.com. And the money raised, 50% is going to go to your McFadden's movement there, Garrett. So
awesome. Yeah, I appreciate
hopefully
that.
People will buy some tickets. The draw date is going to be December 18th, and there's limited amount of tickets. So I can promote it for the next few podcasts, and then if other people want to donate stuff for me to raffle off, then I'll continue doing that, and we, guys can pick the charities, and we'll just keep it rolling, right?
Yeah, I think that's a great idea, and obviously appreciate the support. So I don't know, we'll have to blow it up on our Instagram and all that stuff, and get the word out about the Wally jersey.
The way I look at it is, if I wouldn't have started doing this in my shed, it wouldn't be the opportunity. I wouldn't have the chance to do this and help. So I've been wrestling with how to, I guess, get compensated, but also keep it real and help the world or hockey world. And I think this is the best way, right?
Yeah. I don't disagree at all. I think it's a great way.
Okay. Well, so we'll see what happens till December. I think it's like 18th, and we'll see how much money we can raise, but it's on the website, aleshockeytales.com. And there's a spot on there to buy tickets, and yeah, the winner will get the jersey, and if you want me to sign it, I will. If you want me to personally sign it, I will. I don't really care, and then I'll send it to you. Right?
Yeah, that sounds really good.
Okay, So moving on, I was just running a hockey practice in Kincardine, so this question for the pod is a little closer to home than usual. Growing up and playing minor hockey in Kincardine, because I was just running the tyke practice with episode, I think 35, Derrick Burrows. We were just running my daughter's practice. So yeah, guess you know about Derrick too, right?
Yeah, oh yeah, legend.
Ran tyke for 33 years now, folks, in Kincardine.
Yeah, yeah. I lived in Chesley for when I was playing tyke, so my dad is a coach, but I was a novice and I knew about Derrick, and I kind of I always wonder what would have happened had I made it on that ship instead of playing on a team with 6 kids on it in Chesley, Ontario. But I don't know. I was pretty lucky to have my dad as a coach. That was the only time he was my coach. So I think
Was
back to
till
those
when?
days. And I
Tyke?
don't
Just
know.
tyke?
Just tyke, yeah. So I don't know. Probably it had to been a couple years, I guess. So I moved to Kincardine when I was 7, and novice all the way through Pee Wee. I was in Kincardine. So, but yeah, he obviously coached my little brother, and yeah, he is. I think if you could pick a couple people that represent minor hockey in Kincardine, he'd probably be one of those top guys. Like, he's given pretty much everything to minor hockey, and
He could
he's a
very
hell of a
well be a
person. So
Hockey Canada champion as well, right?
yeah, 100%. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah. So you played basically just Kincardine minor hockey. When you went AAA in what year?
In Bantam, yeah. So novice through Pee Wee, and then obviously had another legend in Brian Royal as my Pee Wee coach, and old sweet Lou Bettino on the back end as the D coach with the towel over his shoulder and all that good stuff. I know he taught a bunch of us a lot of words that you can't say nowadays. So big shout out to Lou for giving us those. A lot of words that you can't really use them anymore anyways. So but I'm sure how much damage could a bunch of 11-year-olds do and when you're hearing that stuff. But yeah, had those two, and obviously Curtis Chaput and Dane Dunlop. Those were
Really?
my Kincardine years were
Those are your
were some
coaches?
of my best years. Yeah, those are my
Dane
coaches.
lives down the
So,
road, and I work with Curtis.
yeah, no, they're like that. I kid you not, that year is like my second year at Pee Wee. I remember, and it's like one of my favorite years of hockey ever. Just, I mean, we won International Silver Stick and we won OMHAs, so pretty cool year. And just like the last year in Kincardine, I don't know, you kind of obviously stop playing with all your close buddies when you move to AAA. So it was a little bit different after that. But yeah, we made the jump to AAA in Bantam, Skinny and I, Ethan Skinner, and
So you guys are the
all the way
same
through.
age?
And yeah. So we played novice through minor midget together, and we're in the same classroom at St. Anthony's, and tried to take most of the same classes at KDSS when we were there together. So
And folks,
he's
this is the guy in the
best friend.
Netherlands with the Herentals, right? They're a pod favorite. Yep, that's where Evan Mosey played in the Netherlands. That's where Skinny is now, right? He's gonna have to pod from the Herentals team.
Yeah, I know he would want to be on. He actually put me on this podcast. I listened to a bunch of the episodes when I'm driving around. I listened to a bunch of them when I drove when I was driving up this summer. I can't remember what episodes they were.
Oh,
but
yeah.
he put me on the pod. So when he found out that I was coming on, he was pretty excited. So you'll definitely have to get him on. He's got a ton of stories. He can tell stories with the best of them. So
yeah, and he's a great pickleball player too.
Yeah. But yeah, no, we started playing AAA in Bantam. I guess, I don't know.
So you guys would have won all Ontario with Kincardine then every year until you leave for AAA if both of you are the same age?
Well, yeah, that was the only year we actually won. We'd always lose to Listowel. They had the Nickel twins over there, and always a couple other guys that, I don't know, they would just beat us every year. They were kind of our kryptonite. And then finally,
I know them too. Jeez, maybe I do know the Young Bucks.
Yeah, second year Pee Wee, we finally kind of got by them and into the out of the WOAA or whatever it's called now, into kind of the other teams, and then beat Strathroy and Wasaga Beach in the finals. So it's good
So you
memories
never
back
had a
then.
big spotlight on you playing in the little towns until I guess Bantam then, eh? Nobody really would have known much about you or what?
Yeah, I guess. I mean, like I would play spring triple A, like we do 3 or 4 tournaments with Maitland Ice Sharks, or played a bit with Hockey Highlights Thunder, and a couple other tournaments here and there with some other teams from Toronto and stuff like that. But yeah, I didn't really make the jump to triple A until Bantam, and a lot of people are, I don't know, they're pretty shocked when they hear that, and it's like, well, you didn't play triple A like since novice, and nobody really understands that driving your 8-year-old kid to practice in Markdale in the middle of December on a Tuesday night doesn't make any sense when, I think Kincardine minor hockey is, I might be biased, but I think it's obviously run pretty well. And I was lucky to have, parent coaches and also non-parent coaches who are involved in the organization that, put some really good teams down on paper, and obviously learned a lot and fell in love with hockey in Kincardine. So it just made sense for us to wait until Bantam. And once it got to that point where we needed more of a challenge, then we kind of, we did it together. And I know that was kind of our thing. Like Skinny and I, we just made that transition together, and our parents would split the driving. And, he's got a younger brother. I got an older sister and younger brother too. So it was a lot for our parents, and they were,
Well,
huge
I
sacrifices for
see
us to
it
play
coming,
AAA
right?
hockey. But yeah, so
Like I see
it's
it coming for my little bugger, and I'm like, how does this work? Like when some of the practices are at whatever time, wherever they are, and you're like, holy moly, that's gonna be a lot.
Yeah, I mean, like in minor midget, we were practicing in Markdale on, let's call it Wednesday nights, and we get home from, high school and have something to eat, and then we, either Derrick or Vicky would be picking me up at the end of the driveway, or my dad or mom would be heading over to Skinny's to pick him up, and then we'd be down to Markdale for a 7:30, 8 o'clock practice, and there for an hour and a half, and then driving home, for we get home at 11 or 12 o'clock at night, and then get up for school at 7 in the morning and do it all over again. It was, it was a lot. I mean, that's what you get for living in a small town. You
That
got to
that is
drive,
like,
but
it's kind of like Kincardine so nice. This is like the price you got to pay, right? Like
yeah,
because
I mean, it's exactly.
like my kid
Uh,
made the AAA team here after a couple tryouts this year, and like the 2 tryouts we took him to, one of the practices started, I think it was like 5 or 5:30, and you're like, well, this is an hour and a half away, and like I'm supposed to be working. It's Tuesday or Wednesday, so I have to tell like work I gotta leave, right? And it's like, well, this can't go on all year. So I guess that's why you wait till Bantam, right? Because then the practices are later, and you're just driving in the middle till later at night.
yeah, I guess. I mean, I think we just waited so that we weren't doing it for 5 years. We were doing it for 3 instead. But
No
I mean,
shit.
I don't know. Like at the same
Yeah,
time,
there's
like
no way I could do it for 5 years, man. After seeing it, but
yeah,
like
yeah,
yeah.
like
But like
the one
Kincardin's
year.
good, man. Like right now, like you play 2 age groups, and then you get one year where it's harder against the older kids, and then the next year you get to be one of the guys, right?
Yeah, it's exactly. Yeah, I mean, like I said, I
You get a
love
good
playing in
mix.
Kincardine, and
Yeah.
yeah, it was just like we always had a little team, and a lot of guys that probably could have played AAA and Pee but
So were you
I don't
always a
know. Like,
defenseman?
yeah, when I moved to Kincardine, my dad told me if I wanted to play rep, then I should probably try out for D.
And
So I
that's when it
tried out for
happened.
defense. That's when it happened. I used to play center or forward or whatever when I was in Tyke, but I think it's just because I could skate and the other kids probably weren't that great because they're from Chesley. But it was.
I remember skating with you punks that day, and I had never seen you play before. And when I first saw you skate around, I'm like, oh, you must be a forward. And then I guess that was like the newer school of where defensemen could actually skate really fast.
Yeah, yeah. So I mean, I was a defenseman all up. I played like a bit of forward and some spring hockey tournaments, just kind of for kicks, I guess. And actually, in high school hockey, when we won OFSA, I was playing forward by the end of the tournament. Elkie put me back there, and I think I don't know. He said I was turning the puck over too much or something like that, so they put me on forward, like as if that'll help. But it's one of those things, like.
Because like when I was growing up, like the big guys went on defense, right? The little guys went on forward. That's just kind of the way it was. And like there's like the new school of like the offensive D man that could really move and like wasn't that big. And then I saw you play in the OHL game, and I was like, oh, this guy's a player. And then, anyways, moving on. You just go then for 1 year AAA, and you get drafted 12th overall to the OHL. So you must have had a good year that year.
Yeah, well, I played 2 years in Bantam with the Highlanders, and minor midget was draft year, so 3 years AAA. But yeah, no, I had a good year. We had a good team. Like we definitely should have had more guys drafted, but that's kind of what happens when, I don't know, maybe you don't get as much exposure when you're playing your home games in Chesley, and I don't think many OHL scouts are making that drive. So, you know, it was what it was, and I think you know, there's a few guys that have, you know, played a lot of junior, and a couple guys that'll go on to play pro and stuff like that from our old Grey Bruce team. But yeah, we had a good little team, and I was lucky to kind of be put in the right position. And I don't really know where I was going to get drafted. And my agent kind of told me it would be anywhere from 15 to 30. And I don't know, when 12 came and it was Guelph, like I didn't talk to them overly too much. Like when you're a minor midget player, most teams will kind of bring you in, give you a tour of the dressing room and bring you out to a game and whatnot. And Guelph was like probably one of the, you know, maybe 4 or 5 teams that I didn't get up to go see or talk to much. And then all of a sudden they were calling and asking if I report, and it was like a nice little surprise. And yeah, I remember my mom just started crying right away, and it was like, well, that's kind of sucks. But
so I guess it was always OHL. You never thought of NCAA. Cabinet maker, Canadian Pale Ale.
Yeah, I thought about it a little bit. I know it's kind of a more of a pre-draft discussion with my agent, just kind of where I would get picked, and throughout the year it was kind of like, well, you're projected
12th
here
overall, you're going OHL.
Yeah, that's what I mean. So it was kind of like if I got picked in the first 2 rounds, then, you know, there's a, you know, pretty high chance that you're going to sign with the team and play. I mean, as a first rounder, it's like you wouldn't draft a kid in the first round if you're not going to sign him and have him there as a 16-year-old. So
yeah,
we talked a bit about
I was the last pick of the draft.
If I slipped. We talked a bit, if, you know, I slipped to later, then maybe we think about school, but obviously never really had to think too much on that.
But you got a pretty good school package then?
Yeah.
Does it not get based on what round you go?
Yeah, it does. Yeah, so the first round standard is like kind of your full ride, and then all your basically pay for everything, your room and board, and they get you a nice little meal plan too if you want one. So it's we do it right here. That's for sure. It's nice.
But does it? Is it not? I'm just curious here, but is it not when you leave the OHL and you got that, right? You got your little full ride, but if you sign a pro deal, that's gone.
You sign an entry level track like NHL, then it's gone. But you can sign an American League contract and play for 16 months until you can like renege and come
say,
back
I will
for your school package. Yeah. So they give you like kind of, it's like a year and a half. So you can play a full year pro and then play half a year, and then you're like, you know, I don't think this is going to do it. But then if you get offered the entry level
deal, how do you say no, right?
Well, that's what I mean. Like,
and then then you go those 3 years. Oh, that's a tough situation for guys.
Yeah. So I mean, I don't know. I played with a lot of guys who they were, you know, going to get entry level deals, and they took some courses and stuff like that at U of G. So they did enough to kind of get them started, and hopefully they'll never have to fall back and finish their degree, make enough money playing in the NHL that they can kind of, you know, find jobs if they want to work or work for teams or whatever. But it's kind of one of those things that I'm I mean, they set you up pretty well. Like you're either making it pro and playing pro and making money doing that, or signing an NHL deal, or you're going to school and
Yeah,
they're
I just didn't
they're
really know
covering
the
it
real
for you.
rules,
So
right? I didn't know the real rules. I knew that if you signed deals, you could lose the school, and that would really suck for guys. Just because, there is a lot of life after hockey, as guys my age that usually are the guys in the shed come on, and we have realized, you know. Um, but anyways, to your Storm days. It's weird for me because I used to grow up watching the Storm, but it wasn't at that new arena. It was at the one old downtown, the Memorial.
mm,
But what was like your Storm days? You guys won the whole thing your first year when you're just a
yeah,
young punk, and then it looks like you're
yeah,
rebuilding your whole career.
yeah. It was tough. I can't. Yeah, obviously, it was first round pick, which was awesome, and then I came into a team that was loading up for the big run, and I kind of got put on the back burner. I think I played 42 games that year and none in the playoffs. So I was,
Because they
I
have
was
their
like one
big
of the,
trade deadline deal and bring
yeah,
in older guys.
yeah. I think we traded like 7 second round picks for Kirby Reichel and Nick Ebert. So yeah, our decor was some pretty elite level guys. Like we had Matt Finn, who was signed with the Leafs at the time. Second round pick was our captain, and then Zach Leslie drafted to LA, signed. Ben Harper drafted to Ottawa, plays in Nashville now. He was signed at the time. Nick Ebert was drafted to LA, signed. And then there was like Phil Baltisberger, who was our Swiss import. He had played World Junior since he was 16, so he was going. He played in his third consecutive
And you're
years
a
that
you're a
year.
kid that was just on the Gray Bruce Highlanders, and you're
Yeah,
16
that's
and
exactly it. And I'm just trying to figure it all out. Yeah, no, we
living in a
we
new
had
town, moving away from home.
yeah. Yeah, it was a tough year just not playing and also like you said, like trying to figure it all out. But yeah, guys stayed healthy all year too. So it just like the opportunity never came in playoffs. Like I don't know how many teams have gone through a playoff run and not had guys get injured at all, but we were obviously lucky, and maybe that's kind of what it took for us to win that year was just guys stayed healthy.
So you won the
And
OHL, and
we
what
won the
happened?
OHL. We went to the Mora Cup final, and then we lost to Edmonton. They had a pretty good team. We beat them in the round robins, and then we got the bye to the finals, and the guys were pretty happy about that. And we were in London, Ontario, so can't really blame them. And yeah, we lost in the finals, and I mean, for me it was cool, but like even looking back, like I I won the OHL. I didn't really play, so it's just like I was on a team, but
It's
it's one
different.
of
I
those things
know.
where
It's
it's
when you're
it's a bit
really
it's
part
a
of it.
bit
Yeah.
bit salty. Yeah, like I'm a bit salty about it just because it was like kind of a shitty year in my life, but
No,
it
and
kind of
I
it was it
totally
was it
get
was a
it,
lot of
man.
fun.
I totally get it. But then so the next few years, like you come into your own, you become the captain, and like, but it doesn't look like it's a very good team, right? Because they gave up all their picks and they basically sell the farm to try and win it that year, eh?
Yeah, we sold the farm that year, and then we had some returning guys that in my second year probably should have moved at the deadline and didn't. And then it was tough because the year after that we were bad. We were like a 3-win team at Christmas, and guys were quitting, and coach got fired, and
Those are fun years,
yeah,
eh?
yeah, it was definitely a treat, and it's kind of I don't know. You're obviously like that's a year removed from my NHL draft year, and I'm trying to like figure my stuff out, and like is this gonna happen for me or not? And then you're just like on a brutal team. It's like
Well,
oh my
and
god,
being on a brutal team, it's hard to get noticed. It's hard for people to see what you can do because, like, you're not in
yeah,
the offensive zone and you're playing D, and you're like, yeah, man, that sucks. Because if you're on a
yeah,
good team in the OHL, it could change everything, right?
yeah, 100%. And I think like it matters a lot to like play deep into the playoffs just in terms of like who's watching, and I think,
Exposure,
you
man.
know,
And
scouts.
they're
Yeah,
all
that's
wondering
exactly
why
it.
teams win. The scouts are coming to see why teams win. Why are these
Yeah,
teams in the finals? That's when they start really watching, or they just
yeah,
look at,
that's
yeah.
exactly it. And I think like if you win, like I don't know, it definitely helps. It's like, well, he's on a winning team. Like, let's give this guy a chance. Like, he's obviously doing something right. And I think, I mean, it's true. Like, you look at teams that are winning, it's because they're, you know, stacked through their lineup, and a lot of times that's exactly what the OHL is. It's you know, 5 or 6 D that can all play, and 3 lines of forwards that can all score, and it's just like it's a melee out there, and you know, it's like
Yeah.
why wouldn't you want these guys on your team, kind of thing. So
No, it is
yeah,
hard, like to make a name for yourself, but then you're the guy in Guelph that moving forward. Like you're the captain of an OHL team. That must have been a pretty big honor to be named the captain of an OHL team, eh?
yeah, it was pretty cool. I mean, the guys that were captain before me, like Matt Finn was a second rounder to the Leafs, and Jason Dickinson too, like first round pick to Dallas, and is playing for the Canucks now. It's like, I don't know, I just think of like being in that company. It's pretty cool. I obviously, you know, it's hard being the captain of a team that isn't all that great, and
Yeah, that's not
lucky in my
fun.
away year that we started turning the corner. We were still really young, but you could tell we were gearing for things. And sure enough, the year after my away year, they won the OHL again. So it's just like I came
Stop
in
it.
at the wrong time, and I left at the wrong time too. So yeah, a little, you know, a little extra salt on the way out the door on that fresh wound that is, you know, still existing. But it's just one of those
Sorry
things.
for
They
bringing that up,
actually,
eh? And my bad.
yeah, no, it's fine. I mean, that's my hockey story. So it was kind of cool that that year was obviously my first year out here at Acadia, and the Memorial Cup was in Halifax, so I got down to see all the guys. Yeah, that sucked too. Like I was really happy for them watching them play, but I wish I could have been out there. And they obviously sold the farm too that year and brought in Nick Suzuki, Sean Dursey, and Mackenzie Entwistle, and all these guys that are,
And then
you
they're
know,
probably
NHLers
brutal
now. And
again, right?
yeah,
It's
actually,
the
well, they had
cycle of the
the year
OHL,
off
except
last
London's good
year.
every year.
Yeah, somehow London with their 10 American guys and whatever, it's, you know, they do all right. It's unbelievable.
Okay, so you did make under 17 for Ontario your rookie year there when you weren't playing as much, but making like the that OHL All-Star where you're playing the Russians and you're with the best players, like that's a pretty big honor, right?
Yeah, it was super cool. Like I remember kind of finding out, especially that first year, it was like I didn't really expect it just because it was like that 96 year for yeah, it was like I said, that first one was in Owen Sound. So it was just like, oh, this is
Yeah.
I don't know, that's about as good as it gets in terms of like an opportunity, just like hopefully play a pretty good game, and you know, try and beat up on the Russians a little bit, and get
Uh,
to play with a lot of unreal players too. So
yeah, and there was definitely exposure there that night when I was looking around the crowd because I knew a bunch of guys and like there's a bunch of old NHL guys that I knew from growing up. It was funny watching I watched it with your parents there in Deano and like seeing how many scouts are in the stands for that stuff. And I was like, wow,
yeah,
this is wild. But
yeah,
yeah, no, it's pretty cool that a kid from Kincardine like is playing and all that stuff, man. When you look around here and like there's only so many kids around and it's a small town, like what you're doing, like it gives my kid and other kids around here like someone to look up to, you know?
yeah, it's pretty cool. Obviously, I love the small town feel, and like it's cool. I think it's cool being that small town kid too. Like you know, like you said, it gives other kids hope, and you know, you just I'm pumped for the next kid that you know makes the OHL or whatever, does something really good in hockey. Like it's super exciting, and I think there's a ton of young hockey talent in Kincardine. Like I get to go out and you know run hockey schools in the summer and hang out with some of the kids, watch them play, and watch them skate. I don't know. I think hockey in Kincardine is really good. I just hope that you know some kid really makes it out of there, and you know gets playing the NHL and
I
live
really
all of our dreams.
I really I think you could still have a very successful pro career there, big guy. I don't think I've turned the page on you yet, so we're not there yet though. But speaking of cool things happening in the hockey world out of Kincardine, is you may not know this because you probably haven't listened in a while, but in Cardiff, the goalie, if he wins, they throw Twix on the ice at him because of my shed here in Kincardine. Okay. Now tonight, this just happened right before we got on. In between me running, practicing Kincardine, and then hitting the shed, I just found out from the most recent podcast. Now Evan Mosey is now getting cheeseburgers in Sheffield, England. So we're now getting Twix and cheeseburgers to players from the shed here at Kincardine. So, and my most listened to episode just went over 1,000 listens. So that was pretty cool. Pretty cool out of my shed in Kincardine. I'm pretty excited.
I got a little Cardiff connection too. Actually, my old head coach, Jared Scaldy, is the head coach there right now.
He was your coach?
Yeah, he coached me 2 years in junior.
In junior for the Storm when you guys sucked.
For the Storm. Yeah, when we sucked. Yeah. Yeah, no, I Jared's one of my favorite coaches of all time. Actually, he was unreal, just unreal human being. I thought, like, just easy to talk to, and I don't know, he just kind of, when he spoke, you listened. But he was one of my favorite coaches. We went over to his place. Would have been my 4th year. He had us over there for American Thanksgiving dinner, and his whole family was there, and they invited 4 of the guys. One of my American buddies, Kyle Rhodes from Virginia, there, and then Austin Hall, another one of my good friends, and then one of the Russians, Dmitry Samorukov. He had no idea what Thanksgiving was, but he just liked the turkey. But yeah, no, Skulls was he was an unreal guy. I love playing for him. I'm sure the guys in Cardiff now love him too, because he was a beauty for sure.
I haven't reached out to him yet. When this was first starting and there was a lot of Cardiff going on, we talked about it, but now I kind of think it's fun that I'm having his players on without talking to him to see if he likes it or not. And maybe someday I'll have him.
You'll have to get him on. He's another guy that can tell stories with the best of them. I'm sure you could.
My connection with him would be kind of, I guess, this is how small the hockey web is here, right? So you won the OHL Humanitarian Award, which is the Dan Snyder Trophy, which his old man was my GM for the Elmira Shurikens, who played for the Owen Sound Tack. But then I heard Scaldy then was in Elmira for Dan's like funeral and all that. And like maybe the concerts with like the Tragically Hip or whatever that went on in Elmira after that. So yeah, it's just interesting. That's a small spider web of hockey people, isn't it?
Yeah. The hockey world, it's so small. I don't know. You get to know one person, and all of a sudden you know everyone, it feels like.
Yeah, you have one guy in your shed, and the next thing you know, Twix and cheeseburgers are flying everywhere. And yeah, now we're raffling off jerseys in the shed, folks. Okay. Not to catch you off guard, but we've asked this question on a lot of the recent podcasts. What would your stripper song be?
Oh, geez. You're going to catch me off guard.
Sorry, we haven't had any serious talk yet.
Is that a new question? I didn't hear that.
I know it is new, actually. It came up because Jeff McMillan played for the Durham Thundercats, and the Ripley Wolves used to go to this place. I forget what it's called. It's in Hanover. But anyways, just, give yourself 5 minutes, let it fester in the back of your head. If you were coming out on stage, okay, just think about it.
Yeah.
Okay. So why weren't you traded to a contender your last year with the Storm? Why didn't they trade you to a contender so you could, they could get a few more picks for that next year to beef up?
Yeah, I always kind of wonder what would happen in my last year if that had happened. And I had a conversation. That year we had a new head coach, GM, George Burnett, and we went out for dinner early in the year, and he kind of asked me,
Like,
you know,
what
if I
Yeah.
wanted to finish things out in Guelph, or if you know, if I wanted to get traded and kind of finish with the contender. And I don't know, I just anytime that you play 5 years of junior in one spot, I think it's pretty cool accomplishment. And I obviously had a lot going on with my charity, and kind of was getting my feet underneath me with that, and felt like I wanted to stay, and it's a decision that I don't know.
Yeah.
I
And the
I
thing
don't
is
really regret
sometimes
it at all, to be honest.
you don't.
Just kind of, yeah. I mean, I always wonder, like, what if, you know, I had gotten traded somewhere, and my 4th year there was an offer for me to go to Owen Sound, and I kind of knew that I was going to be an overager, and I just felt like I would rather be in Guelph than back in Owen Sound for another year. And it was, yeah, I mean, I just felt like I wanted to finish things out in Guelph, and that was kind of all it was. And honestly, at the deadline, like, I didn't really hear much from my GM, so I'm not sure if
If anything,
maybe
really, huh?
nothing came across his table that was enticing
I was
enough to
just
kind of
curious,
mention it to
right?
me. But yeah, I mean, it's one of those things, like, you see it a lot, like a lot of overagers will get traded in their last year and have a chance to kind of go at it. And I definitely wish I had the chance to make a long playoff run, but you know, it was one of those things where I just was happy to sort of finish things off and go, and actually kind of, you know, worked out in the end, where my season ended in Guelph, and I signed an ATO in the Val and got to play a few American League games at the end of the year. So a little taste of pro in exchange for maybe a, you know, a long playoff run. So it was one of those things where I'm happy with the decision I made. I obviously wonder, because you always wonder. I don't
Yeah,
know. Like,
but
there's
then what does
decisions
that
in your
do,
hockey
right?
career where it's just like,
There's
yeah,
so much of
it's
that
just like,
shit you can always wonder. That's why you have podcasts when you're done all this shit and talk about it. Thresher, Belgian whip here. But that's seriously what this is all about, is like all these guys, you make these decisions that literally they do. When you're in the hockey world, they affect your life and where it all goes and what you do next. And like when you're done at Acadia and you choose what to do next and what contract to sign, it will change your path, right? Like where
yeah,
you go.
yeah, yeah. It was just, I don't know, like, I don't know. I try not to let, like, stuff like that bug me, but it's, yeah, I don't know. It's just like the decisions you make, you feel like they're right in that situation, and sometimes maybe
You
they
should,
aren't. And
yeah. No, I
it's
totally
just,
understand. Um,
yeah.
yeah, no, yeah, I'll tell you later. I had a bad one recently, and yep. Anyways, here we go. Next question. Um, been back to Kincardine much lately?
I was back this summer.
Yeah, that's when
I got
you
a,
were not coming to the pickleball matches, eh? Okay.
yeah, that's when I was,
Oh,
yeah,
I just skipped
skipping
over a
out
whole
on
bunch. That's
pickleball.
not the question yet. So when you finally do end it with Guelph, you do
Yeah.
sign a tryout there in Laval. So then what do you get there? Like, do they give you a real shot? Is it a team that's giving you some ice time to see what you can do?
Honestly, it was kind of a, like, it was cool. I got to play 4 games, and I was there for 3.5 weeks, but kind of walked into, honestly, a bit of a dumpster fire. They were on a 16 game losing streak, and they had about 8 or 9 guys in ATOs and probably 4 or 5 on PTOs, and there was about 40 guys showing up to the rink every day. So it was, I mean, in terms of your first taste of pro, like, that's when I was like, okay, yeah, this is the business. You know
Oh,
what I mean? They're
it's
bringing in anyone, and there was no guys under contract for the next year, so guys were scratching and clawing, and you know, it was, yeah, it was interesting for sure. I didn't really love my 3.5 weeks in a hotel room, but it was what it was, to kind of, you know, go and play in the American League and whatnot, and that was a pretty
I
cool
hated
experience.
it.
But
I hated it. Hated
yeah,
all of it.
yeah,
But
it was, yeah, it wasn't like, I don't know. dreamt of pro like being really cool, and then it was like you're kind of
Yeah,
in the
because
situation where it's like not really
yeah,
the best at all, and it was just like, I don't know, put a bit tough taste in your mouth, I guess, because you kind of picture the experience as being really cool, and then you kind of get to a place where it's like there's guys that are here that you don't even know their names or anything like that, and you just feel like a bit of a cog for sure when there's
it's not much
30
of a
other guys
team.
just like you showing up to the rink, and it's like it was just kind of a throw together of who else can we get here on an ATO. And I don't know, the
That's a
day I
really
walked in, they
weird
sent like
first
3 or 4
taste.
guys home, and it was interesting for sure. And I mean, I there's parts that I really liked about it, and I got to play a game in Toronto against the Marlies, and my parents got to come down and see it, and that was really cool. And I got a point, which was also cool. So you play 4 games and get a point as a demon. I don't know. I didn't really expect to get anything like that, but I don't know. Then there's a game against Springfield that I think I was -4 on like probably 10 minutes of ice time, and that was not so pretty. So it's
Oh,
one of those things where it's like you get a taste a bit of both sides. Like played
I
a pretty
think,
good
but
game
like
in
then,
Toronto, but
and
also
it's weird when once you get into pro hockey and like it's like that in every game, you think of every game like what happened in 10 minutes, and then by like once you're a few seasons in, you're like, yeah, it's hard to even remember like what was going on because you played so many games, and then by this is playing half the seasons and or half the games in Europe. Like I can't imagine the guys that play in the NHL. There's no way they remember all the games. There's no
yeah,
way they remember everything that happens because there's so many once they get into it and you get going like and the thing is so like you have that taste in your mouth, right? And I've seen you play. I think you could like you're really good, man. Like you could still do her. But like, do you want to go back to that or you want to go to Europe? Because I got some contacts if you want some.
yeah. I mean, I don't know. I'm a skating defenseman, so I like at
Right.
Acadia
Runs a
here we
power
have
play, so
Olympic
you're up
size
top.
ice.
You're
So
up top on the power play,
yeah,
right?
it's one of those things that I've thought about a lot for sure, and I'd like to give it another shot in North America just because I feel like
You
feel
do
like
want to?
I've got it. And I don't know, I'm only 24, so I want to keep playing for a long time.
Yeah.
So if it means being in North America for a couple of years and giving it an honest shot, just so I know that
I
you
was
know
curious of what you were gonna say because I want you to take an honest shot because I was when you were deciding after I saw you playing that game in Hamilton, what you were gonna do. When I was making my heroic comeback to try and play for the Ripley Wolves, was like what you're gonna do if you were gonna play pro or go to school, and you chose school. Was always curious if when you leave there, if you're gonna give her the full go, because I think you might just have it there, sir.
yeah, I mean, I think like the school route, especially out east, like just the way the leagues shape up, it's still super competitive, and I think it's really good hockey. And more guys are signing one-way American League deals, and even in the last couple of years, there's been a few entry-level deals for guys coming out of the AUS or out of U Sports in general. So with my school package, it kind of made sense for me to get my degree, and my parents are big on getting educated and being more than
Because they're smart
just a
people.
hockey player. And yeah, they're smart people. So I mean, and when I was playing in Guelph, I took some courses at U of G and had a year done already. So it worked out that for me it was really only a 3-year sacrifice. If COVID never happened, then obviously I'd be playing hopefully pro right now,
Right.
and I wouldn't be back at school for another year. And that's just how things go. But kind of put myself in a position where I could go to school for 3 years and get a degree, and then take a shot and only be 24 and still pretty young. And
Well,
in all honesty, like that,
I really think like when I saw you as a player and I saw the way you played, like you are like what hockey is now. Like you were playing that way, like, and like when I was growing up, you'd put like, the big slow guys on defense, right? Like that's what they do. And then like there's guys like you now that can wheel around and like see the ice and make good passes. And then like, you know, it when you're a forward that's scores, you realize as you get older, the difference like between players and who you play with is like when a D man can put it on your tape in stride, changes your whole shift. If the guy
Yeah.
rims it to you and you got to fumble around, fuck with it on the boards, and then try and find the centerman, and then you're getting in shit because you didn't get it out because the D man came and killed you because the guy rimmed it to you. When the guy would have just passed it to you on the tape and you could have just passed it to the next guy, way easier.
Yeah. Yeah, it's an easy game and you can move your feet for sure.
It was a different game back when I played. It was more rim it and like try and run the guy, and yeah, whole different thing. But like I would love to play with guys like you, and I can't wait to see what happens. But what was it like to make Team Canada in the Universiade? What's that about? Who do you play? What other countries?
Yeah, that was honestly it's a crazy hockey story. Like it's usually it's kind of like the university like mini Olympics, and a lot of winter sport athletes go to the Universiade, I think it's called. We call it
Sorry.
FISU.
I
So
said Universiade.
like
That's what I thought.
Universiade. It's spelled
I
kind
just
of
went
like
with it.
that, but
I just went with it.
I never like you could go with whatever, to be honest. Like it doesn't offend me at all. We just kind of call it FISU. So, but yeah, that was in my first
Izu?
year. FISU, yeah. I don't know why it's called FISU, but it's like FISU, and then the event is called the Universia, whatever.
Okay, go for it. Who do you play?
But yeah, no, we played Team Great Britain actually.
From really? Like from the
Yeah,
universities?
yeah, the universities. I don't know where those kids were from, but we talked to them in like the athlete village, and they were happy to be playing us. I think we beat them like probably 16 top.
Yeah.
It wasn't pretty, but
Well, the pro guys are good. But
yeah,
if you're getting into the
but
university teams,
yeah,
you're
I don't
not sure what
I don't know
Cardiff
where they
Mets
got these
team
kids,
looked
but
like, but it couldn't have been very good.
yeah,
Okay.
I don't know where they got them from, but
Yeah.
yeah, we played them. We played Sweden, played the States, we played the Russians, Kazakhstan, and Latvia, I want to say.
Okay.
So yeah, it
So
was
who
like
beat you? You didn't win.
no, we lost to Russia in the semifinals, and then we beat Kazakhstan for the bronze. So yeah, I don't know. It's like the university athlete
Do they
Olympics.
do
Like it
drug
was crazy.
testing
Like
in the
we
university in that?
yeah. Yeah, oh yeah, they do everything. Like the Russians were there. I don't know if they did any drug testing because we were in Krasnoyarsk, which is in Siberia. It's like the capital, biggest city in Siberia. So we flew from Toronto to Warsaw, and then Warsaw to Moscow, and then from Moscow to Krasnoyarsk was the city that we were going to. It was another 6.5 hour flight. So we were way out there, and then so yeah, it was honestly unbelievable. And yeah, Putin was there. He spoke at like the opening ceremonies for the games, and it was
How many
insane.
people are watching this?
They built a brand new arena for the games. And like obviously there's other sports, like there's skiing and snowboarding and speed skating and figure skating and I don't know, whatever other like Olympic
Does this happen every
or
4
sports
years?
or every 2 years. So we were, yeah, they built a brand new arena, sat like 5 people, and every single one of our games was sold out. And these Siberian people like treated us like gods. And like, I don't know, like we're just a bunch of like university students that like we couldn't really make it pro, and we ended
Yeah.
up at school, and now we're playing in this tournament. Like
So how,
they saw the Hockey Canada on our jerseys, and it was like, these are the
You're
guys
in.
who have been, yeah, that's exactly it. So it was pretty crazy experience. I had a lot of fun, and that is a crazy part of the world. I'm you know, lucky to have gone there. I'll never go back again, but it's pretty hard to describe what life is like in the middle of Siberia. It's pretty rough.
Yeah, no, I never made it out to Russia in my career. Never did. Um, I've heard guys that absolutely love it though, love their experience, and they, you know what? They have a lot more things than I have nowadays too.
Yeah.
But like they lived that life. I mean, in Germany, it was just really fun and it was like normal and like it's like it's different. It's definitely different, but like I don't think it's as different as Russia. Not even
Yeah.
close.
No. Yeah, it was there was the buildings were pretty much gray, and yeah, the people like didn't really have many teeth, and yeah, it was
I've been to, I guess you could say like in Germany, it was like where the other side of the wall was. So like the East German side, like Weisswasser and whatnot. And like the buildings all looked the same. It was compared to like Bavaria and everybody's where like I was living. And then you'd go there for a road game and you'd see like the buildings were just all the same. And you're like, wow, like, and then you're like, you start figuring shit out, right? It's kind of weird. But
yeah,
yeah, like the
yeah, it
buildings,
was
man,
yeah.
couldn't
It's
imagine.
yeah, it's strange. Like I mean, the buildings all look the same in Siberia, and they were equally as like rough, like tin roofs, and it's -40, and it's like if there's people living in there, yeah, it'd be pretty rough. So
Um,
definitely, I know a lot of us were thinking we're pretty lucky to live in Canada. That's for sure.
so basically then you guys have this year. So what were the other years like? Were you good in the other years? Did you almost win anything or how did you guys get the nationals?
Yeah, I mean, we have a pretty good program. Like we're usually like a top 10 school in the nation. Like this year, we're just off to a bit of a rough start. But my second year, we were supposed to host. So when I originally got recruited to Acadia, it was kind of like that was a big piece of why I decided to go here. Was because we were gonna get to host nationals, and I thought it was pretty cool. And like it's in Halifax at the Scotiabank Center, which is like where the Mooseheads play. So it's like I don't know, they seat like 9,000. It's a pretty big barn, and just thought it would, be cool. And um, obviously, there's a lot of other things that brought me out here, but we were supposed to host my second year, and then because of COVID, it got canceled while we were at the tournament. So like the first two games of the tournament got played, and then that night we were supposed to play the next day. That night was like the night that
It all got
the
shut down.
world the world shut down. And then yeah, we obviously didn't play last year, and then when word came out that like they were kind of launching a return to play for youth sports, yeah, they decided to give us nationals again, which was pretty cool. So that's kind of what brought me back here was
You got the chance to do that. Yeah.
got the chance to do that again, and this time I'm in fourth year and the captain, and so it kind of just felt like I needed to stay back for another year, and
So are you still
here I am.
doing things with the charity out there?
Yeah, we run an event every year actually, just at a local brewery here, and um, usually it's just kind of a concert and just bring out all the boys and a bunch of my friends from school and try to raise as much money as we can. And there's a couple
Geez, that
initiatives
sounds
out
pretty
here, like
easy.
through.
That sounds a
Yeah,
lot
yeah, it's
easier
pretty
than
easy.
doing 92 episodes in a year. Woolen chop brown ale, right?
Yeah, it's pretty easy. I'm pretty lucky to. We have a little golf tournament every year for the Axemen, and got to play in a group with Matt Haysom. He's the owner of one of the breweries down here, the Church Brewing Co. in Wolfville, Nova Scotia. And it's I don't know if you ever catch yourself in Nova Scotia or in Wolfville, it's probably like the one of the first spots that I would go to, especially in the summer. They got the best patio ever, so it's a good spot, and obviously lucky to have Matt. So he lets us come out there every now and then and throw a little concert, mini kind of party, and have a bunch of
that's
my
pretty
friends out
cool.
there and a bunch of the boys. So it's a good little spot. They treat us really well. So we're really lucky to have them. And then from here and there, there's little things, little talks and events and stuff like that we'll put on, but nothing too crazy, not like it was when I was in Guelph, but it's it's a bit different out here just with school and busier with stuff. So
Well, you think like if I raise some money, we can still do some good with it? Like,
yeah. I mean, we do a check donation every year to West for Youth and CMHA. So I know West for Youth they do unreal stuff, and they're busier than ever, especially with the way things are going with the pandemic and everyone,
well, with
feeling
what
a
these
little.
kids have gone through, like,
Yeah,
man,
it's
it's not
exactly
just
it.
the kids, it's the adults, it's everybody, man.
Mhm.
Like, I don't know. For me, it's weird because like mental health is such a strange thing that like even when you're going through tough times, a lot of people don't admit it, or like it's just tough times. Like people go through tough times and it's like, we'll get through this. And it's like, well, there's so much to it. There's serious, there's light stuff, there's in between, and like um there's a lot to learn about it, right? And like for me, I haven't been this happy living in Kincardine until I started doing this podcast. Like all my old buddies I missed when I moved here as a hockey player and then didn't really know anybody. Like I don't I like I've met everybody now. I know your parents, I know you, I know your brother. Like it's weird. I've only lived here 5 years, but like I feel like this is home and I have a good job. I work for good people and I get to do this at night. And it's like my kids are good, my wife's good, everybody's good. And it's like I get to coach a minor hockey team. It's like life is great, but like not everything's like that. Like there's been lots of times, right? Like where it's not like that. And whatever the case is, hopefully me selling this jersey that hung in my closet for a while raises some money, maybe helps something. And, and then the other half of it will help me buy the next jersey and then donate to the next charity, right?
Yeah. I mean, like you said, like the transition, I think, out of hockey is one of those things that
It's
maybe
fucked.
people don't understand, and like I don't know, it scares me. It's one of those things like in the back of my mind. I hope, when I have to retire from hockey that I can't walk because it's
I
if I
couldn't.
feel like I can still
I
play,
couldn't
I'll
walk
want
when I
to.
was
And
done.
yeah, that's what I mean. Like not to wish some, harm on myself, but it's just like one of those things where I
It's
think it
what you've
goes
always done.
a bit, yeah, and it goes a lot, unnoticed, and it's just one of those things where I think people are realizing that more and more, and I think there's more for guys that are transitioning out of the game. There's more resources and stuff like that for them, but I don't
But
know.
what are
10 years ago, there would
resources?
have
Like
been nothing.
resources
Like,
are, like for it's tough, right? Because like resources are resources, but like when a guy
yeah,
is getting out of the game, you don't really want to admit you're having a tough time because everybody's having a tough time. That's exactly what
yeah,
goes on when it's over. That is what you go through, and it sucks. And if it, my kids, my wife, like, my teammates, everybody helped me, and that's what it's all about, right? But it's it's tough, man.
mm, yeah. Like, I
Tough.
don't even
Till
want
you
to
have a
think about
shed
it.
when you're till you have a shed, that it ain't tough anymore.
Yeah,
Sorry
yeah.
guys.
Like,
Sorry guys that are struggling.
I,
Didn't mean to say
I
that.
don't know. It's a scary thought for sure being done hockey. So it's I don't know. like to stay involved in the game for as long as I can. But I know
Well,
that
I
the
think you're
difference
on the right
between
path with what you're doing. I think your pro career is going to blossom just like your charity has. I think the person you are, the teammate you are, I think like, and I've seen you play hockey. No, I'm a big fan, and I like literally like I hope that people buy tickets for this jersey so I can donate to your charity. But then I also hope like I get to see you play in the NHL someday, man. Cause like I looked it up. I looked at where you're at, and like I saw the guys that you were playing with in that game because I didn't really know any of them. Still don't because I don't really watch NHL. But like man, you're right there. Like you're right there. Just because you have the full ride to Canadian University doesn't mean you're not right there. When you get out of there, I'm very much looking forward to seeing you play pro.
yeah. Well, I appreciate that. Obviously, I believe myself, and it's one of those things. Like it's been in the back of my mind, and just waiting for the right chance, the right opportunity, and hopefully that's at the end of this year, and just kind of give her everything I got.
And if it doesn't work out, I got contacts. Okay. Because there's a
Yeah,
lot of people in Europe and like everywhere that would want a guy like you. Like, look at what you've done. You're 24 years old. You make me feel like I'm fucking 10. Sorry, but like you've accomplished quite a bit, and you're 24 years old, and started a charity like that, and like the time and effort you put into it, and then like, yeah, man, um, pretty impressive. Way to go.
yeah. So I appreciate it.
Okay, and say hi to your parents and Bryce, and tell them, I got the back of the court while he attacks the net, and in
Yeah,
pickleball, he's got the long arms. I'll be behind him. We're a good team that way.
you should talk to Bryce. Actually, he maybe will want to run an ad on the pod. He's got the big real estate gig now.
Oh, hey, we
That's
can do anything here. If
little mini plug for Bryce working
Yeah,
at
and
Remax.
yeah,
Need to sell a house,
Bryce and
contact them.
Remax here in Kincardine, folks. If you're buying or selling here in Kincardine, Bryce is now a realtor here in Kincardine, and worked really hard. Young buck, but he's shown leadership just like this young man. And I bet you he can buy and sell your house here in Kincardine lickety split. Give him a call, Bryce McFadden.
That's
And this
perfect.
has
You'll
been
appreciate that
another
one.
episode of Two Ales and Hockey Tales. And don't forget to purchase your raffle tickets at www.aleshockeytales.com. Thanks. See ya.